Hi, all of you. Hello. This is me sitting here raw and real in my stairs. I just want to share a small fragment of my truth. The rest will unfold with time. And it's not so much that it requires that poetic air that I bring to things, but more so that the underlying truth that sits within the heart of each and every human being, the compassion that anyone could feel so deep if only they themselves had been through any sort of devastating, detrimental, embarrassing, whatever, some really extreme experience. You know, I always think of like Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men when he's sitting on that stand and he says, "You want the truth? You can't handle the truth." Sadly, the many moons that I've traveled through this life and what I feel and know and trust in the depths of my soul, it's true. In the being human state, we struggle to handle the truth. And from what I've gathered of all of that, the biggest reason for that is the conditioning that instigates fear to face our own truth, or the ability to actually own it because of judgment. Most of the time, it's misinterpretation or misunderstanding or like just complete sheer ignorance of facts, or an unwillingness to actually take them all in. You know, it's like none of us has any right to judge any one of us and our experience unless we have completely and thoroughly judged ourselves. And, you know, maybe if we've been judged, I like that old Metallica quote. They probably got it from somewhere, but don't judge lest thee be judged. I've always treated each person as an individual with respect. I have definitely seen how I may have come across in a certain type of way. You know, like when you get to the point of digging so much within yourself to realize that it's very true. We shine as within, so without. So all that stuff, you know, that we think we're projecting, or, you know, we think people are projecting, or okay, how could I, bleh, tripping on words, but ultimately, you know, like the negative aspects and stuff that drive us, or we think are just like unacceptable, not, whether it's socially or just like we can't even wrap our head around the means of how somebody could be feeling that way or where they're coming from, because likely we haven't been through it. It's like, you know, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Well, I can tell you this fact. Can't fly over it. Can't fly under it. Can't even fly around it. You gotta go straight through. The true old healers here, like, yes, we all have the capabilities, or, you know, like, to be able to achieve pretty much anything. There are certain things, though, you know, it is an ascension process. It's not about hierarchy. It's about going through the motions. It's about doing the work. And sadly, what I've seen is a lot of fuckery lately. I'm not gonna lie, but you know, the deceptive elements of, like, okay, what is destined or fated, okay, can only be delayed. It can never be completely transferred. Hence, so many roundabouts, too many deja vus. A lot of the intervention that's going on right now on a very massive scale, I'm trailing off. But, you know, all that stuff, right? Everything is a ripple. So you do your work as an individual. Trust that it ripples out to everything around you, all forms of life. This human species has been protected for a very long time. Why? Well, when you're really human or of life, it's a very powerful energy source, right? Because of our connections. You know, life is connected to all life. It's only in the breaking down and replacing, so to speak, but with, you know, plastic or metal or whatever. Like, life is so pure. It's ultimately our greatest gift, our biggest blessing, and at times can seem like our greatest curse. But it's magnificent. I wouldn't change any of it, regardless of, like, what may unfold from, you know, this moment that I'm sharing these words with you into future, you know, because I'm finally, for the record, relinquishing any need to control any outcomes. It's time to just let the chips fall where they may, because there are things beyond that I do know and trust. And I know I can just let go. And it's all good. So I've been quite an extreme journeyer of life, I guess you could say. I'm a Libra. And, you know, people often mistake Libras for being, you know, that sign of, it's all about the balance, right? One thing with a Libran journey is we need to go to extreme ends so that we can understand how to bring the balance, or where the balance sits, you know? And what is the balance? Well, it's ultimately the harmonization. It's not always like this total, like, equivalent, like the equal sign, like this, that, it's gotta be exact. No, it's not about that. It's like the scales of justice, for example. There's a reason the lady wears a blindfold, right? It's so that nothing can interfere with the truth of what we feel straight from the heart, straight from the soul. When judgment comes, it's always the heart. It's put on that scale. I'm not, well, many of you know me or watch my channel, like, I don't follow a specific religion, so to speak, but I do practice my spirituality religiously. And I know I've mentioned this before, but that's one very simple but powerful way that we as individuals, it was 1, 2, 3 on the clock there. I've been recording 11, 23 seconds. That's cool. Like the synchronicities, all that stuff, true story. The fragmentation of it in, I'm trailing again. I'm not going to do that. Okay, realignment. At the end of the day, the first judge is always ourselves. How do you feel about the truth you know for yourself? Like Jesus, okay? Of course there'd have to be a second coming. I mean, look at all the fuckery around his truth and the facts of what actually was. Like when your story, say you're in your resting phase, we call it death, final savasana. Absorb the life you just lived. Take in all the practice, all the experience. Integrate the lessons so that they may translate into wisdom and you can carry them with you into your next round. The journey of ascension. We only each have so many turns, and then gets to a point where we either loop back and do it all over again, or we move on to be ascended masters. There's so many things. This is just like a small little bit of it, but when you become an ascended master, you have to forget a lot. And you always have exactly what you need to remember when you need to remember it. It's total trust and faith. Because, if we had to contain everything all the time, all at once, I think we'd explode. That could be like human combustion right there. Oh, yo. Perhaps it is. Because you are the universe. Don't forget. We are co-creators here. Don't let anybody take that truth from you. You can keep allowing them to tell you a vision, or remember the role you play in the collective. I'm hearing, if you've seen that movie, Pretty Woman, and hey, welcome to Hollywood. What's your dream? That dude. Awesome. So that's what I'm saying. Hey, welcome to life, to here, to now. What's your dream? Innately, if I break it down, Oh, I think I'm about to get interrupted. Anyways, what's the moral of the story here? Yeah, I've lived quite an extreme life, and I am so grateful for all of it. Even the lows. Definitely. I am thankful for each and every lesson. I am thankful for all passionate energies directed towards me, whether love or hate, because at the end of it all, it's all love, right? We could never hate anything so extreme unless we truly loved it. That's a story for another day, but you know, bigger picture, true ascension. Ultimately, when it comes to our tribes, no one gets left behind. We're here to help each other. And in helping ourselves, we truly help each other. That's so important. And I think sometimes, like empaths, light workers, healers, just genuine, like old souls that just come back here to try and help this species level up. We forget that what good are we to anyone unless we're good to ourselves? It's like, I'm a mom, and then there are the days that I recognize I'm everybody's mom. And then I recognize my mom and how I need that, like we're a crew. And truth be told, right? The golden rule of it all. The one, yeah, golden. It's very golden. But how does the Bible say it? Do unto others as you would have do unto you. Okay, what about this? Treat others the way they want to be treated. Sound tricky? Respect, right? Only put down what you're prepared to pick up. Don't dish what you can't take, And we really, people have to quit fucking assuming, because that's what keeps us looping. Honestly, if we think that we're just going to get the same result over and over and over again, then what the fuck are we doing here in the first place? If you truly think that, you're going to get the same reaction from somebody that you care deeply about and just want to spend good time with them, but you feel like you're tiptoeing or whatever because you don't want to argue or fight or whatever, stir the pot, break things, then what are you doing? Because we need to remember that we're all here to grow. And yeah, it takes time for old habits die hard. 21 days. That I think is a fact. 21 days to break or make a new habit. So rather than thinking we can just replace each other and keep having the same relationships with different faces because we haven't turned the mirror back on ourselves, realized that we are projecting out what we're seeing from within, and within is our beautiful selves in all the flaws. It can be heavy, but when you get it, then you can truly shift it. And then and you can trust that you're not going to get the same reaction, that maybe you're going to go on to have really amazing evening because that's all you wanted in the first place. I love you. I love all of you. yeah, I have much to share, but this is like just the small fragment of the truth of, well, I guess my truth. Okay, so going back to those extremes. Yeah, I've ventured down many extremes. And I still like to entertain some extremes on occasion. But never, ever for the detriment of anyone, including myself. That's where that good old moderation comes into play. You know, anything in moderation. Ultimately, though, yeah, I get it. Like, Gaia, she's pissed and has been taken for granted for far too fucking long that it's time we realize anything that would like hurt or kill a little creature, you know, whether it's like a toddler drinking bong water off a table or freaking, you know, a dog eating a chunk of crystal off a carpet or somebody getting poked with a needle or whatever. Okay? Yeah, I realize that in so many ways we've pushed each other and ourselves to those extremes. But I trust that we did all of that and that what we've gone through, even how savage some of these extremes are, I still have hope, trust, faith that, you know, maybe it was to bring us into some great harmonization that is yet to be seen. That maybe when we wake up and realize the facts of the great conditioning, how all the chaos stemmed from the order, how any sort of need to control is obviously a detriment that should be looked at within ourselves. You know, because the purest form of power is when we have the ability to let go and trust and have faith. You know, it's like I've had buddies ask me, B, how can you say something like that with such conviction? And it's like, I don't know. I just know. The irony and the freaking, what is it? What's the word? The paradox? No. When it's like, yeah, it's a paradox. Would that be a paradox? It's like you stay the opposite of what you're saying, but it all goes together perfectly and makes perfect sense. P.S. Make. Make cake. That's awesome. Well, you bake it. Make love, not war. That's an old one. Make. Fact. No one was ever supposed to or entitled to or whatever. It was not of original intent to make anyone believe anything other than in oneself. So, make believe. Do you make believe? You know, maybe like we should start, you know, keeping that power, giving the power, maintaining it, helping that, like with our children right from the beginning, you know? They are so powerful. And then as we go up in age and conditioning and like socially acceptable this, that, it's those very actions that have led to the savage extremes and the genetic mutations. And well, actually there's more to it than that, but that's a vlog video blog for a whole nother day. Yeah, but maybe we should focus on giving our children their full power right from the start and doing nothing but encouraging that. Not lying to them about Santa or the Tooth Fairy or the fucking Easter Bunny. Rather teach them right from the start the archetypes, the energies, the old ways of where these came from, and what brought us to where we are. And then we can't get pissed off when they're lying to us because we wouldn't have taught them to do that and made it fun in the first place, right? Ooh. And another just little fact I want to leave you guys with right now, but the greatest teachers are the ones that always remember, carry with them the knowing, can always learn from their students. The soul journey is magnificent, and I am so proud of how far we have come in this journey with this human species. We've done all right, and there's still so much more to come. We just need to remind each other of our power. Don't judge. Rather, to be or not to be, is that the question? No, it's not a question. It's encouragement for action, to step into our being and just go with the flow. What do you know? You might learn something. Always, always, always. I love you guys. I'll be back again soon, I hope.